Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Come on in. I'm KJ, host and executive producer of the 8:30 show. This is the 8:30 show. This is your space for biblical clarity on news and pop culture. Every one of us has a calling and role to play in this life. Shortly before he was martyred, Paul wrote in 2 Timothy 4:7, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. He knew he had a divine assignment and that he was here on a sacred mission. And he was able to look back and say, I have completed the task the Lord has given to me. In this space, we will shine God's light in dark spaces, discuss cultural issues like the breakdown of the family, sexualization of children, marriage, relationships, LGBT, failures within the church, transhumanism, and race in America. We're also going to delve into political topics like immigration, urban chaos, Marxism, education, crime, Trump, Biden, and all sorts of political topics. No topic is off limits, but all topics will be approached from a biblical perspective with biblical solutions. Let's dig in, warriors. All right, tonight I'm doing a deep dive into grooming within Hollywood by looking at things that have happened to Justin Bieber and breaking down the critically acclaimed movie Poor Things. It is a representative of Poor Things is a big movie that it was critically acclaimed movie that won an Oscar. It has leading actress, I forgot her name. Leading actress for the movie was Emma Stone. So I want to talk about that and Justin, but I want to start off with Justin Bieber. All right. So before we really dig in, I do have to acknowledge, since we are talking about Hollywood, I want to acknowledge the passing of O.J. Simpson today. He died, as you guys probably already know. He was battling, I believe it was prostate cancer, and he passed today. I think he was in his 70s. So what a storied person, both good and bad. But as a Bible believing Christian, I hope he made some type of, he confessed his sins with God and he got right with God before he died. All right, so we're going to dig right into it. I want to start off with Justin Bieber. So it was reported in Us Weekly just yesterday that Justin Bieber and his wife, Hailey Bieber, spent $16.6 million on a California mansion last year in the swanky Madison Club neighborhood. Other celebrities that live in this area are Kris Jenner, Kylie Jenner, Apple CEO Tim Cook, and music manager Scooter Braun. All live in this swanky area. These are just some of the celebrities, to name a few. But what exactly was the true cost of Justin's fame and fortune? So Bieber was ushered into the mainstream stardom with his teen pop-driven debut studio album, My World 2.0. This was in 2010, which debuted atop the U.S. Billboard 200 and made him the youngest solo male act to do so in 47 years. He was discovered by American record executive Scooter Braun in 2008 and subsequently brought to American singer Usher, both of whom formed the record label RBMG Records, to sign Bieber in October of that year. Guess how old Justin Bieber was at this time? He was 13 years old. 13 years old. And let me tell you why that's important. Because can you imagine a 13-year-old boy being thrown in the Hollywood environment? Now, we know it to be evil and wicked, but he obviously didn't know that. And he has suffered for it. Now, it depends on what you mean by it. You may think, oh, he's not suffering. He just bought a $16 million home, almost $17 million home. He's rich. He's famous. But was it worth it? there have been rumors that, he was groomed, he was molested. The whole Hollywood environment was filled with pedophilia, and it's been on record. There's a lot of situations that have been recorded on video showing him being taken advantage of. I want to let you guys look at this because this is important. And what I want to, if you could bear with me, because I'm going to walk you through why this matters to us. Because some of you might say, oh, well, my kids aren't in Hollywood. I don't listen to Justin Bieber, which is a lot of people do. But there is an agenda, an evil, wicked agenda that is being pushed within Hollywood. And whether your kids watch these movies, whether they listen to this music or not, the agenda is coming to your front doorstep. Bear with me. I'm going to walk you through this to show you how. So first, I want to show you this video. Again, Justin Bieber entered the music scene at 13 years old, and he was groomed. He was groomed, guys. This is the first one. This is Katy Perry handling him at, I believe this was backstage at an award ceremony. I want you to take a look at this video. There's Katy Perry. She's grown. Look at her grabbing his behind. So that's just one. But this is what I'm talking about. You may think this is casual. This is, it's making not a big deal. This is something that goes on and on and on with these young teenagers, young boys in Hollywood. Let me see here. I want to go to the next slide. That was Katy Perry. She was like maybe 20s, late 20s, early 30s, grabbing this young boy's behind. This is another one. This is actress and comedian Jenny McCarthy. Take a look at this. She kisses him on his neck, grabs him.
I feel violated right now. Wow. How have you been enjoying the night so far?
Then look what she says.
Right. I just got to knack Justin Bieber and grab his butt.
I thought that you totally, it was like a full-on almost makeout session.
A little cougar scary.
Yeah.
But I took the opportunity in the window.
Look at her.
I'll never get to do it again. And kind of molested him.
Well, we hear that he may be back on the market now.
Look at her. An interviewer doesn't see it. It's inappropriate.
Imagine how hilarious that would be. It would be the cougar score of the century. Jenny McCarthy dates Justin Bieber.
Would you?
I want some Bieber fever, and I want a Bieber rash. Not at all. It'd be like cougar rape.
What? So this is what's going on.
Wow.
One
I
second.
feel violated right now.
This is what's going on. That's not normal. That's not normal. It's disgusting. But they laugh it off. They say, oh, it's not a big deal. Then she'll probably say, I was just joking. But she grabbed. Can you imagine if someone did that to your son or your brother, your little brother, or someone like that? That she was much older. She had to be in her 30s. Handling him like that. I couldn't imagine. And let alone, now, what if it was a guy that did it to a girl? It would have, would they have made a big deal about it then? But that's not it. Take a look here. This is grooming, guys. This is inappropriate. But what they're doing is they're making it light and funny, or they think it's funny. What they're doing is they are slowly making it acceptable to handle children as adults. And it's disgusting. And we need to talk about it because it's an agenda. I have one more video of Justin Bieber. This is him doing an interview for a radio show, I believe. Take a look at how the radio show person talks with him.
15.
What's it like with the
15.
girl situation?
Girls are great.
Stop. Listen to me.
I love them.
Are you allowed to like date? Are you allowed to like go out and be seen? Or is it tough to be seen?
I mean, I'm kind of, I don't know.
Wear condoms.
Okay.
Yeah, serious.
Did you see with it? So this is an older man. He looked like he was in his 30s. And he tells a little 15-year-old Justin Bieber, he's talking to him about sex. He's telling him to wear condoms. So this is totally inappropriate. It's totally inappropriate. But this is what these sick people in Hollyweird, that's what I call it, Hollyweird, they do. They talk to children in an inappropriate way. And it's unacceptable. Now, some people say, well, where were his parents? Well, that's a good question. Why did they let this happen? Why did they let this happen? And they probably did it for the money and the fame. You know, a lot of these parents use these children as ways to make money, you know, and it's sad. You know, these children's youth and their innocence is for sale. It's for sale. And it's sad, but I'm going to show, I want to talk to you about how this will then transfer to everyday people like us. So let me see here. That's Justin Bieber. Now he's got all kinds of health issues right now. And so he's got all kinds of health issues. He's got all kinds of emotional issues. We wonder why. I don't know why. We know why, actually, because he's been abused. He's been abused. So I want to move on to the bulk of what this conversation is going to be about. And this is the movie Poor Things. So Poor Things won numerous Oscars at the awards ceremony. The Academy Awards just aired in February. Won numerous Oscars and was universally praised by mass media. However, all of these critics purposely ignore the fact that the movie depicts a child in a woman's body having sex with older men. Okay? Again, let me repeat that. It's a child in a woman's body having sex with older men. And then it gets worse. I want to take a deep dive into this movie. I have screenshots of certain scenes in the movie. It's sick. It is really sick. And it feels like movies nowadays are just being made to see how far they can go, how close to the edge they can go, to see how close they can get to pornography, how far they can get to desensitize us. It's really sad. It's really sick. No more. Gone are the good days of the actual really good movies with storylines that you leave and it makes you feel good. Or even if it's not a cheery movie, it makes you think on it. You know, really good plot and storyline. Now it's just shock and awe. It seriously is. So again, this was award ceremonies threw all their trophies at it, including numerous Oscars. Again, as I mentioned, it had leading actress Emma Stone. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress. It was also nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay. Mark Ruffalo, who's a really leftist actor, was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I mean, the list goes on. This was the darling of the movie scene this year. Why? I do not know. But it was. Okay. So while the movie was based on Alexander Gray's 1992 novel on the same name, most of the book's political commentary and literary nuances were evacuated to mainly focus on a single thing: Emma Stone acting like a child and having sex with older men. That's what it was in a nutshell. So Stone taking part in degrading near pornographic scenes as some kind of Hollywood rite of passage. Like I said, she's naked throughout most of the movie. and it's gross. It's gross. So again, in this, I'm going to put out spoilers. So if you do plan on seeing it, you know, I'm going through the whole movie pretty much. So just to let you know that. So basically, as I mentioned, on the surface, you know, it had very good set design, costume. It was very good, that type of stuff. But there's a lot of hidden meaning in this movie. So basically, what the movie is about, Emma Stone, she is, again, it has a lot of feminism undertones in it, all of that type of stuff. So basically, the movie is about, let me see. So Emma Stone is sort of like, it's supposed to be sort of like a different take on Frankenstein. So let me see here. I want to give you one moment. All right. It opens with a woman committing suicide. So the woman was pregnant and her body was recovered by a strange man that everyone calls God in the movie. All right. And so basically, you know, let me go to the, okay. So basically the character being referred to as God underlies the fact that he's the creator of Emma Stone. Her name in the movie is Bella. All right. He carries out experiments on humans. He does all this weird stuff. And everyone in the movie calls him God. There's also, you know, he as I mentioned, there's very different experiments that he carries out. He has a deformed face on here. Let me see here. I want to show you this. This is him. And you see what he says on here. I am Enoch and can't F her. So this is just one part of the movie. He plays God, and in actuality, in opposition to the real God. His entire body of work is about corrupting the natural order of things and creating abominations for science. So again, this is him. But again, his most important experiment is Bella. That is played by Emma Stone. So again, they have this pregnant lady who committed suicide. Then this man, Godwin, placed the tiny brain of her unborn baby inside her head and reanimated her. So the result of this experiment is Bella. So it's basically a baby inside a woman's body. Okay. So she's a baby inside a woman's body. And then this is Bella. All right. This is her. Again, played by Emma Stone. So at the beginning of the movie, Bella can barely talk or walk. At one point, she pees on herself. So again, she has the mind of a child. She has the mental age of a toddler. But that does not prevent them from sexualizing her, from men lusting over her. So, you know, let me see here. Again, this is him. That's the creator. He's some type of disfigured man. This is another one of his experiments, some type of pig, half rooster. So again, they're concocting these things, these experiments, things like that. Okay. All right. 1 second. It's really strange. It's very strange. So this is another part of the experiment here. This is where I was telling you about. So he has on here, he's talking about in this scene how he put the brain of the baby, Godwin placed the tiny brain of her unborn baby inside the head and reanimated Bella. That's what this is here. And again, you see her. So she's like a child. She, this is the experiment. Bella, literally baby inside of a woman's body. Okay. And understand, this has sort of themes that we have in real life right now. So you know how we're being pushed to accept this whole trans movement. It's sort of the idea of the brain or the feeling have nothing to do with the actual body. You get that? So this is why we're being pushed. This whole trans thing is being pushed. People feel as though their feelings, their soul, or their what makes them who they are is in war or in contrast with the actual physical body. This whole movie has themes about that. Why are they pushing us to, or why is society moving to have this war or this failure to the union of body and brain or soul is not in function. It's not in congruence. Why are they doing that? Because they're pushing us towards transhumanism. And they hate God because we know the Bible, we know faith in God and the Bible talk about the natural order of things. So that's why we're seeing the left move towards this anti-God, or the God that we know of the Bible. And so man becomes God. And as you can see in this movie, themes like that are throughout it. And this is what they are pushing in Hollywood. And we're going to get to why this is important to everyday Americans like us. All right. So again, at the movie's beginning, Bella, played by Emma Stone, can barely talk or walk. At one point, as I mentioned, she pees on herself. She's like a child. All this going on here. So moving to the next slide. This is them. So they're fawning over her. Two grown men. She has the brain of a child. She is a child in every word, every meaning of the word, except for her form. But she has the brain of a child, and they're fawning over her here. What a very pretty retard is what they say there. So again, it's sick. All right. So here we move into the movie focuses on Bella's sexuality, including scenes of her masturbating. In one scene, she looks childish and innocent as she blows bubbles in her bedroom. She's in her bedroom here. So again, you see how they continue to mesh the theme or the idea of child and adult. She's clearly has the mentality of a child, but the body of a woman. It's really sick. And again, here we come with the idea of pedophilia. So this is a man named Duncan. He comes in, sits next to her, and he's touching her private parts. So first, I want to ask you guys, is this pedophilia? Do you believe that this is pedophilia? So did the movie somehow find a loophole to depict child sexuality in a mainstream movie by having a grown woman act it out? Remember, we already know this is an experiment, a baby's brain inside of a woman's body. She has the mentality of a toddler. Isn't pedophilia morally reprehensible because children are innocent and cannot process these thoughts? She can't process it. She cannot do that. So these are the kind of questions I want you guys to think about. So he takes her on an adventure here. They're in Lisbon. And then this begins the whole sexual acts or in this movie. So let me see here. Next slide here. So again, this right here is probably the least pornographic or this part. I mean, they twist this girl like a pretzel all through the movie. So here, Emma Stone playing Bella plays the role of a child having sex. Now, you can rationalize this all you want, but that's what's happening. She has the mentality of a toddler. She won an Oscar for this. She was full frontal throughout the movie. She didn't have a top. She was full frontal on the bottom. She won the Oscar for Best Actress for this movie. Now, the sex scenes are intercut with Bella exploring Lisbon while looking like a child. She walks clumsily and awkwardly, heavily indicating that her brain is far from being adult. Again, they're interchanging this idea of her being a toddler, but then she's moving and doing certain things. Well, actually, the only thing she's really doing that's adult-like is the sexual acts. So in these scenes, Bella is a bit more coherent, but she's like a toddler. I mean, she's like a toddler. See, look, see? You know, you may not be able to understand or get the actual idea, but she walks around like a baby. Again, clumsily, awkwardly, she walks around like a baby. She has the mental age of maybe at this point, like an 8-year-old. She actually, do I have that here? 1 second. Okay. So again, in this scene, you can see she sends a postcard to her creator, God, on which she describes in a childish manner what she's been up to. This is what do you think you know what she's doing? She's describing what she's doing. So there she's fellating a train. You know, throughout the movie, she talks about when she was talking to someone else, she was explaining, you know, her sexual acts and things. She calls sex furious jumping. So, you know, the critics in the movies, you know, movie critics found this term endearing. I'm quoting here. But again, it's sick. It's sick. You know, you see how she's writing this stuff? This is the letter she wrote to dear God. Let me see here. This is while Duncan was having fun at first, things soured quickly. Bella's immature mind and promiscuous disposition led her to be intimate with another guy. This caused Duncan to become bitter and jealous. And you know, Bella, you know, is sort of losing attraction to him, I guess, you know, here. So here, Bella doesn't understand why he's crying. She observes the world through the same cold scientific eyes of her creator, Godwin. So devoid of emotions and morality. Okay. So again, you know, this is what they're doing here. Let me see here. This is another act. These are nothing. I mean, the whole movie is about her having sex. They sexualize her. The entire movie is what they do. Here she becomes a prostitute actually in the movie. One of her clients is older, rather a gross butcher who smells awful. This is the scene here. And after the encounter, Bella says that the sex was brutal and in a strange but not unpleasant way, is what she said in this scene. So again, you see the idea, this whole sexualization of children that we're seeing. And the reason why I want you guys to understand, so because I know a lot of people say, oh, it's a movie, you know, Hollyweird, they're weird anyway. But what are they doing in schools now? They're pushing porn in schools. If you look through these books, what was it? Queer, gender queer. You know, I've testified at school boards against some of these books. It's pornography in the books in school. It's an agenda to sexualize children, to groom them, to desensitize them so that they think this stuff is normal, is legitimate. This is what they're doing. So some people say, this is why it's important to first recognize it, understand the agenda, understand what they're doing in culture, because politics and education, all of that is downstream from culture. So they're doing it on here. The agenda is eventually, or they're already doing it, pushing it in schools. And again, this is just one thing where they showed her, but there's multiple acts of Bella doing sexual acts with guys, not just guys, girls too. In another scene, a father has sex with Bella in front of his children for, and I quote, education. This is in the movie. While doing it, Bella gives sex advice to the boys. The boys are like 12 and 13, but maybe it's two boys. I think it was like one boy is like 12, one boy maybe like 15. And they sit and watch her. Again, more sexualization of children. This movie won an Oscar for screenplay, for best actress. This is the movie that they're pushing and they're saying was great work, was a great art. This is what they're saying. Also in the movie, it can't be a leftist Hollyweird movie without same sex. So during the movie, Bella discovers that she's bisexual. Her girlfriend is, guess what? A socialist. So Bella is introduced to socialism, Marxism. So she tells Bella that socialist is someone who wants to change the world for the better. This is what she tells Bella, and Bella gets excited because she says, I am that too. You see, and they do this in real life. People do not read. They don't want to actually research what socialism is, what Marxism is. It just sounds good. And so then what do? They push this on college students. They push this on people who don't want to research, giving out free money, Biden with this whole student loan forgiveness thing. People who had sound mind, they went to school, they put out these loans, knowing good and well they were not going to pay them back, most of them. And now what does he do? Because it's election season, he says, we're going to forgive the loans. And people love it. I had somebody calling me today. Did you check and see if your student loan was forgiven? He's forgiving student loans. What a blessing. Well, just because it's free, just because somebody's doing something for you free, doesn't always mean it's a blessing. And this is what socialism is. So again, it's the slow introduction to this type of acts. We saw this during COVID. When they were giving out the money, then you had them sending money to kids. Now you have certain teenagers, they come out and they say, they were saying, I'm waiting for my government check. This is what it's a grooming, not just sexual grooming, but it's a grooming on socialism, on Marxism, getting people dependent on government assistance. And then once they get dependent, they got you. But back to this. This is sick. And so again, the movies, it was a promotion of specific political current, political ideology. This is as far as socialist. It wasn't just entertainment, it was indoctrination. So as I mentioned, Bella has a girlfriend. Let me see if I can push this image on here for you so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the girlfriend. She had to be black. Right? We gotta mark, we gotta dot all the I's and cross all the T's. So we have to have a black person. We have to have Marxism. We have to have feminism. What else do we have here? Let's see, the black, Marxism, feminism, and sexualization. Those are the three. Marxism, feminism, you got to have the black, and you got to have four. It's four. Marxism, feminism, the black person, and sexualization. You got to have those four. The left has to have those four to groom, to indoctrinate, to all. I mean, honestly, it's just to pervert. To pervert. You have to have it all. So this is her girlfriend. And you notice in movies now, they rarely show male-female relationships as healthy, as successful, as good. So in this movie, the only relationship that really showed love, really showed any type of comfort was the same-sex one. The agenda, guys, the agenda. They're pushing that. So she had been treated horribly by these men. I mean, and again, they bent her over, forward, backwards, side to side, and any hole they could stick it in, they stuck it in her. Again, she's got the mind of an 8-year-old. And then the only images you see of her actual getting love and affection in a soft, nurturing, kind way is the same-sex scene. So there it is. And this is in the same sex, and this woman introduced her to socialism. So so again, the guy who she was messing around with, Duncan, he ends up in the loony bin. Again, she calls this man who created her God. He dies. So of course, it's kind of like God is dead. Again, she finds power in being a prostitute. So a sex worker, as they say. So she's this prostitute with this woman here, her girlfriend. They're both prostitutes. And it's sort of like this feminist power move against the desire of men. They do this prostitution. All right. And so she's talking to the prostitute, her girlfriend, and her socialist lesbian lover. And the movie ends with, let me see here. Let me show this to you. This is her at the end of the movie. She's got money now. She's a big prostitute, and she's bisexual. And this is the ending of the movie. It's a shot of her reading. She's now an accomplished socialist bisexual prostitute. And every man who tried to control her is either dead or completely broken. And this is how the movie ends. And this is how they're ending a lot of movies now. Not just this, even like kids' movies. They're ending the movies now not with the male savior or the male or hero. It's now these girls who are the heroes. And they're ending it, instead of them ending with a love relationship with a guy, they're either ending it with a girl. The girl's the heroine, and she's found love with another girl, or it's just girls ended at like a girls trip thing. This is what it is. And that's movies. Those are sitcom. Those are movies and shows geared towards kids. But again, this is the agenda. It's a mass media agenda. They're pushing this through culture, through education, everywhere. They're pushing this mindset. It's a feminist mindset. It's a Marxist mindset. This is being pushed. Why should we care? This is a weird movie in Hollywood that they pushed up to such acclaim. Why should we care? We should care because we need to recognize that this is the agenda that they're pushing, and it doesn't just stop here. It's pushed in media and in education. And we have seen this throughout schools where they have these books, Moms for Liberty. Thank God for them. They're really like one of the few organizations that are uncovering these books and this literature and this agenda within K through 12, not just high school, it's lower school, it's elementary schools. They're uncovering these types of books and things, and they're making it known to the masses. And thank God for that, because that's the first step. Because a lot of people don't know. They don't know. They ignore this stuff because they say, oh, that's freakish. That's just Hollywood. No, they're pushing it to our children. All right. And we see it. We saw it with Justin Bieber, what I showed you guys earlier. Here is a young boy. He has been groped. He has been fondled, and no telling what else this boy has gone through in Hollywood. And yes, it's Hollywood, but this is being done in everyday culture as well. It is. It's just hidden more. And they're slowly pushing this on children, on teenagers to be okay. And it is not. So, warriors, you guys are my warriors. We're the warriors out here shedding light on this stuff. What can we do about it? What can we do about it? Well, one, we know that this is not of God. And this is why the left hates anything to do with the Bible. They hate anything to do with God. If they do try to talk about it, they distort it. They do this thing about God is love. Yes, he is love, but we are called to obey. We are called to truth. And they try to distort it if they do try to talk about biblical truth and biblical things. But we know the truth, those of us who read the Bible. We know this is wrong. We know that there's one man and woman. We know that marriage is the way. This is not the way. But we have to read our Bibles. We have to let our children know that this is going on. We do. Because some of us want to hide this type of stuff from our teenagers, from our children. But guess what? They're getting it in schools. So unless you're homeschooling, the private school is maybe the last vestige as far as, actual institutions. And some of them are very corrupt. The teachers' unions are all throughout this. But we have to be aware of what's going on and then prepare our children, prepare ourselves to combat it, warriors, with truth, with biblical truth. That is what defeats Marxism. It's biblical truth. They hate God. And this is what is needed in this time. So, and this is all Marxist. This is the Marxist plan. And I encourage you to look that up. There's a list of goals, communist goals that they came out with back in 1963. It's a document titled Current Communist Goals. It was presented to the U.S. Congress and was added to the congressional record. It lists 45 goals pursued by the communists to overthrow America by infiltrating and corrupting its key institutions. And you can Google it and pull up the list. But it's scary, guys, because a lot of the stuff that's on the list, they've already done. They have already done. Permit free trade between all nations, regardless of communist affiliation and regardless of whether or not items could be used for war. We trade with China. All this stuff. Get control. One of the things on the list is to get control of the schools, use them as transmission belts for socialism and current communist propaganda, soften the curriculum. We know just this week they came out with an article talking about Bill Gates pumped in $15 million into schools all across the country saying math is white supremacy. They want to get rid of test scores, standardized tests, all this stuff. So they want to get control of teachers associations, all this stuff. Present homosexuality, degeneracy, and promiscuity as normal, natural, healthy. What do you think this is? This movie was showing a child, an 8-year-old, with a woman with the mentality of an 8-year-old getting sexualized and sexually abused. It was pedophilia. The question I asked in the beginning, was it pedophilia? Yes, indeed, it was. Another thing on here, eliminate prayer or any phase of religious expression in the schools on the ground that it violates the principle of separation of church and state. Yep, that's the list right there. They don't want you to know anything about God. They do not want you to know anything about God, anything about biblical truth, because they know that will stop them. That will stop them. Another thing they have here, discredit the American founding fathers, present them as selfish aristocrats who had no concern for the common man. What are they doing? They're tearing down our statues. Here in Baltimore, have you guys been following the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse? Now they're trying to rename the bridge. Yes, because Francis Scott Key was the writer of our Star-Spangled Banner, our national anthem, which they call, racist. So now they are trying to rename the bridge. We called that on our other show. If you guys haven't seen Poppin' Politics, there's a channel, Poppin' Politics. We were the first to talk about that. They are trying to rename the bridge, just like they've torn down statues, renamed many things throughout the country. Another right there, discredit the family and eventually dismantle the FBI. Encourage. It's all discredit the family as an institution, encourage promiscuity and easy divorce. This is what they're talking about, this whole feminist idea of sexual, unconsequential sex without accountability, pushing sex ed within schools, taking away parental rights and no opt-out. And then now they're including in this sexual education also same-sex, perverted sex, masturbation, sex toys, all this type of stuff. I'm not making this up. You can Google it and see. I'm telling the truth. This is here. It is here. This is why we need to know about this type of stuff and push back against it. It's here. It's here. And the last one I'll read here is this breakdown cultural standards of morality by promoting pornography and obscenity in the media. You had media praising this movie. Why? I don't know. Half the time the girl was on her behind, butt naked, getting bent over. Why would there's no plot. It was all sex of a woman with the mentality of an 8-year-old child. Who wants to see that? Why would media praise this movie? She won an Oscar for being fully nude. What? It's sick. It's Marxist. It's Marxist. This is the plan. Communist Marxist. Yes, the Communist Manifesto. This is what they're doing. It's all there. They are not hiding it, guys. They are not hiding it. They are playing on and banking on us not to be aware. And every time, and if we say something, they say, "Oh, you're making something out of nothing. It's not a big deal." It is. It is. Our country is going into moral decay. Moral decay. All right, guys. I have kept you long enough tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Please share this broadcast. Share it in a DM. Please comment as you guys have been doing all night. Share it and like. And if you haven't done so, subscribe. This is a new channel for me, a new channel. You can find me on Poppin' Politics every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. There we talk about news and pop culture from a conservative perspective. Here on this channel, I'm going to do something a little different. It's more of a biblical perspective. We're going to talk about, things like this, occult. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we're going to break down all of this stuff, all of these cultural and political things, but from a biblical perspective. All right. So that does it for me for now. Again, this is KJ on the 8:30 show. Again, like, share, and subscribe. at 830 Show. You can also find me on Instagram. If you are on Instagram, I am on there at Be More Conservative is my name. Hit me up on there. You can also send me a message on Instagram. If you have a topic or something you want me to cover, you can send it there to me on Instagram, and I will certainly check it out. All right. Until next time, wishing you warm days and starry nights. God bless you, warriors. Take care.